Hi, it's Jenny with Jenny's Wreath Boutique, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make a vibrant summer wreath using bright, bold colors like these. If you watched my Michaels haul, you will see all of these items. I will link that video down below. So everything I'm using in this wreath is from Michaels, including my 14-inch grapevine. I get these in the Pro Packs. I'm also using my favorite hot glue gun in hot glue and my absolute favorite wire cutters. All my tools are linked in the description as well. I've already cleaned up my grapevine. I'm using a 14-inch, and the florals we're going to be using for this wreath are eucalyptus stems, at least 2, this tropical fern garland, 3 coral hibiscus, 2 pink poppy stems, 2 fuchsia marigolds, 1 orange marigold, 2 pink calendula, 1 yellow daisy, and 1 orange branch. I love all of this together. It's so bright and beautiful. Because we're using a lot of florals, we don't need to use a ton of greenery, but I'm going to start with the fern. This is going to make a nice base layer. And we're not going to use the whole garland. We're just going to chop off maybe half of it. So to chop off a garland, it depends on how big of a piece you want, but I like to chop right up to the next spot so you have as long of a stem as possible. And I'm going to cut pretty large chunks. If you can also cut these individually if you like, but it will make the wreath go by faster if we just cut chunks like this. So we used about half the garland. Now we're just going to add it in as our first layer. We're going to glue the stem and then place it along the grain of the grapevine. Like I said, I'm using a 14-inch grapevine, but the finished wreath is going to be more like 23 inches, perfect for a regular size front door. I'm just placing these along the grapevine all the way around the wreath. And we're placing it along the grain so it has lots of surface area, and then the back still looks clean. Nothing is sticking out the back. I love this greenery. It's so fun. Look at our wreath already. It's so tropical. You just do a double layer of this and have a beautiful tropical wreath. I love it. Now we're going to add at least 2 of these. I have 3 just in case. This is the eucalyptus stem from Michaels, and I will have everything I'm using in this wreath linked in the description below. So that will be helpful if you want to use the exact same things. So I'm just cutting this stem. I'm cutting it so we have 3 long pieces each. And then the bottom of this one has these extra little pieces. So I'm going to save these. So we have 3 pieces and a little piece. Because we're using so many florals in this wreath, that's why I'm thinking I won't need to use all 3 eucalyptus stems. But we're just going to see. Sometimes you don't know until you start making the wreath. So I'm just placing these in the middle and angling it outward. Now we're just going to place our last 2 pieces kind of in the middle. And they're going to be on opposite ends to keep the wreath even. I find that adding things in one layer at a time is really helpful for making a really even wreath. Now we have a gorgeous greenery base. Now we're going to put on our flowers. We're going to start with our larger flowers, the coral hibiscus. They're gorgeous. I absolutely love the color. I am going to use these leaves, I think, but I don't want to have the whole thick stem. So I'm just going to take some stem trash, tulip trash, whatever you want to call it. I like to save these and then I can take little pieces off. And so it's like a free pick. So I just dab a little bit of glue in the leaf hole and then stick that there. And we have a nice pick that will make it so easy to add to the wreath. And that will give our wreath a broad leaf because the greenery we used has a lot of texture. So this will help give your eyes a break and really fill in the wreath. And so for this, I cut right here under that bloom, and then I cut right above that bloom. So we have 2 floral picks and a leaf for each stem. This wreath is really going to have a tropical vibe because of this hibiscus. You could separate this as well if you wanted to have just 2 stems, and then you could place them further out, but I like them connected. I think it looks really natural that way. First, let's add our 3 pieces of greenery. I'm just going to put them toward the back. It'll give a little bit of a backdrop. We're just going to place it evenly around the wreath. Now we're going to place our larger flowers evenly around the wreath. And then we're going to place each of these in between them toward the outside. So pretty. Look at that. I love it. Oh, it's so fun and tropical. Love, love. Okay, now we're going to add our pink flowers. These are our poppies, and we have, normally I don't like having 4 because it's a even number. I like to have odd numbers, but if you're doing another color, it can be fine. So I also have the calendula that is the same color. So for these, I don't think I'm going to use the leaves. I'll save them just in case if I need more greenery at the end. But these have great stems, just beautiful. And just so you know, I don't put the stems all the way in the grapevine. I just put about this much in the grapevine and the rest kind of sticks out. And it really depends on the wreath and how big you want to make it. But each of these has 2 sizes. We have a large and a medium. So I'm going to make sure those are across from each other. Now we're going to add our pink calendula. Ooh, I love these. And if these were the same, I would just need one, but I like that they have different sizes. So to keep things even, I'm gonna add 2. And this also has really nice leaves. I'm gonna save these. I'm just pulling them off. They come off really easily. And if you have time, you can add in that greenery if you need it. I'm actually gonna pull off all the greenery and just use any trash stems you have to add picks to this. Or you could have just cut underneath it. These stems cut very easily. That would probably be faster. Since each of these are a different size, I'm going to do the same thing and add them opposite each other. Go around the wreath and make sure so these 3 will go about halfway around the wreath, and then the other 3 will be the other half of the wreath. Oh my goodness, this is looking so good. I love it. Okay, now this is the fun part. We're going to save the smaller flowers for the end. I love that color combo though. And now we're going to add our oranges. I think this is going to be so fun for that tropical orange look. They're a little like flimsy. I don't love the leaves. I'm actually not going to save any of these extra leaves. You can if you want, but I'm not going to. All right. So just divide this up. So this has 2 larger oranges. I mean, they're not large, medium-sized oranges. And then it has 4 of the smaller oranges. So we'll do 2 small, 1 big. That will be the pattern. I'll start with the big. And if you need to tie it down with floral wire, that would be great. We will see. I might tie that down just so if the wreath is hanging a certain way, the orange will stay put. So I'm just going to add floral wire. I get this at Michael's. This is 24 gauge. So I just make it into a U shape like that, and then push it into the grapevine. And this is just going to give that soft stem a little bit of stability. That's the only thing I don't like about these orange stems is they are a little floppy, which can be fine if everything is going to be facing down. Usually when I know I'm going to have to wire something, I like to do that first because it's so much easier. Usually it's greenery I have to do that too. It's harder once you have all these stems in. But now I'm just going to twist it tight and then tuck that wire back into the grapevine because we don't want any scratchies. All right. Oh, that orange is so fun. I love it. So I'm just going to get this other one over with. And put it right across. And I will be tying that one down as well. I say get it over with because I do not enjoy using floral wire. It can be a pain, but it is so worth it. Oh. Now that those larger oranges are in place, we're just going to add in our smaller ones. Okay, that looks so good. These oranges just, oh, they look so beautiful on this wreath. They really make it pop, don't they? Oh, I love it. Now we're just going to be using our smaller flowers to just fill in. Add a smaller size flower. I talk about this in my VIP group all the time, about using different sizes and textures to add interest and depth. Just got one. And this flower really helps bring out the orange from the oranges, and so will the next flower we add. So with this stem, we have two that have 2 flowers and then 2 that have 1 flower. So I'll just do every other. And if you are in my VIP group and you saw the summer 2024 trends video, you probably recognize this. I am incorporating a lot of the trends, actually 2 main ones from that video in this wreath. All right, now we're going to bring out some of the darker color. So we're going to use these purple marigolds, fuchsia marigolds. And I think just 1 stem will be fine because we don't want too much of the same texture going on. Since I'm only using 1 flower of this color and I only had 4 stems, I'm going to do 1 more from this, so I have 5. Because the other flowers, there are multiple kinds with the same color, but since we only have 1 of this darker color, the fuchsia color, I wanted to have 5 because we never want our eye to look around the wreath and see a square, which is what happens when you have 4 of one thing. The last finishing touch is I'm going to add in the leaves so it looks extra full and beautiful, and I don't see any grapevine. I think these ferns really make this wreath though. So gorgeous. So I'm just going to prep all of these leaves really quick by adding the glue to that hole on the bottom and then adding a stem. I love the poppy leaves. I think they're going to add a beautiful brightness to this wreath. Just a little extra touch that I will love. So I'm going to add in these first, just all around the wreath, just to fill everything in. Now I'm going to add in these just pretty evenly around the wreath since it's so much brighter. All right, here it is. It's our bright orange tropical wreath. We've got the oranges and the hibiscus and the fern, eucalyptus, poppies, calendula, so many pretty things. I absolutely love it. And don't forget, I will have everything linked in the description that I use for this wreath, and it's all from Michael's, so that should make it easy for you. One-stop shop. All right, let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.